The first 30 seconds of this video reveal everything you thought you knew about classic Sonic games and gently shatter it because behind the bright colors, the cheerful music, and the lightning-fast gameplay of the 1990s lies a strange, funny, mysterious, and sometimes unsettling collection of secrets that most players never noticed, never questioned, or were simply too young to understand. And by the end of this video, you will never see Green Hill Zone, Dr. Robotnik, or even Sonic himself the same way again. In the 1990s, Sonic the Hedgehog was more than just a video game character. He was a cultural explosion, wrapped in blue spikes and sneakers. A symbol of speed, rebellion, and attitude designed to make Sega look cool. But while millions of players raced through loops and smashed monitors, the games quietly hid details that today feel hilarious, bizarre, and oddly fascinating. Especially when viewed through adult eyes that now question why a supposedly kid-friendly platformer was packed with such strange implications. At first glance, Sonic games seem simple because you run fast, jump on enemies, collect rings, and stop the evil. Dr. Robotnik, yet the moment you slow down and actually observe what is happening, the entire experience becomes unintentionally funny and deeply curious because the game constantly punishes you for stopping in a game about speed fills, peaceful landscapes with industrial nightmares, and expects children to ignore the fact that nearly every enemy is actually a small animal screaming silently from inside a robot shell. One of the most overlooked secrets of retro Sonic games is how oddly aggressive the world design truly is. Because Green Hill Zone looks like a cheerful vacation spot, but it is filled with deadly spikes, bottomless pits, crushing blocks, and robotic wildlife patrols, which raises the unintentional question of why such a beautiful place needs so many hazards, unless something terrible already happened there before Sonic arrived, turning the opening level into a smiling, mask-hiding environmental collapse. Dr. Robotnik, also known as Eggman, is usually remembered as a goofy villain with a round body and an evil laugh. Yet, his actions in the classic games are borderline unhinged because his plan involves capturing innocent animals, stuffing them into mechanical prisons, and forcing them to power war machines, which is either a dark satire no one noticed at the time or a storytelling shortcut that accidentally became one of the most disturbing concepts in family-friendly gaming history. What makes this even funnier in hindsight is that the games never explain this directly to the player, because you are just expected to understand that freeing animals is good and smashing robots is heroic. Even though the game never asks why these animals exist inside machines in the first place, or how Robotnik managed to automate an entire ecosystem without anyone stopping him before Sonic showed up, running late as usual. Speed itself is another secret theme hidden in plain sight because Sonic games reward momentum and recklessness while punishing patience, creating a design philosophy that feels strangely philosophical. As if the game is quietly telling players that slowing down leads to danger while moving fast leads to freedom, which is hilarious. When you realize how many players actually died by going too fast and falling into traps they never saw coming. The Chaos Emeralds are another retro mystery that players collected without thinking twice, because as kids, they were just shiny collectibles. Yet in the context of the world, they represent near-godlike power, reality, manipulation, and complete loss of control when misused, which makes Super Sonic feel less like a heroic transformation and more like a glowing warning. Sign that power comes with unpredictable consequences. Classic Sonic level names also hide curious storytelling clues, because zones like Chemical Plant, Oil, Ocean, and Scrap Brain suggest a planet slowly being converted into industrial waste. Yet the games never stop to explain how bad things truly are. Instead, letting cheerful music distract players from the idea that Sonic is racing through the ruins of a world being dismantled piece by piece. Another strangely funny detail is how Sonic himself behaves, because he is portrayed as a hero, yet his attitude, constant tapping foot animations, and visible annoyance suggest he is impatient, restless, and possibly enjoying the chaos more than he lets on, which adds an unintentional layer of comedy when you imagine Sonic as a character who saves the world mostly because he hates being bored. Retro Sonic physics are also a hidden source of intrigue, because the games follow rules that make sense only within their own logic. Where loops work through momentum, slopes become launch pads, and water instantly turns Sonic into a panicking disaster, creating moments that are both iconic and absurd. Especially when you realize how dramatically the tone shifts the second Sonic touches water and forgets how to function. The special stages deserve their own place in retro mystery history because they feel like fever dreams inserted into otherwise coherent games, filled with rotating mazes, flashing colors, and disorienting perspectives that left many players confused, frustrated, and strangely mesmerized. As if the developers wanted to challenge not just reflexes, but sanity. Even the sound design of classic Sonic games hides secrets. Because the cheerful melodies mask tension, the countdown music induces panic, and the iconic drowning theme has become legendary for traumatizing an entire generation of players, proving that a simple sound cue can be more terrifying than any monster if timed perfectly. Looking back, the humor of Retro Sonic comes from how unintentionally deep and strange everything feels. Because these games were designed for quick fun. Yet decades later, they invite analysis, theories, and curiosity, turning simple sprites into symbols of environmental collapse, unchecked industry, and the cost of speed in a world that never slows down. What makes these secrets so fascinating is that none of them were hidden behind cheat codes or secret menus, because they were always there, quietly waiting for players to grow up and finally ask questions, making Retro Sonic a perfect example of how childhood nostalgia becomes more interesting, more complex, and much funnier when revisited with adult curiosity. In the end, Retro Sonic games are not just about running fast and saving animals, but about a chaotic world where speed is survival, villains are absurdly cruel, heroes are impatient, and bright colors hide darker implications that no one noticed while holding a controller on a living room floor in the 1990s. If you enjoyed uncovering these funny, curious, and intriguing secrets from Retro Sonic games, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment sharing which Sonic secrets surprised you the most. And share this video with fellow fans who grew up in the 90s and are ready to see their favorite blue hedgehog in a completely new way.